The secret to walking away from a narcissist, leaving them alone, and moving forward with your life. Stop giving an F-U-C-K. Stop caring about them. Stop wondering about them. Stop being interested in engaging with them. Less engagement, more detachment. Stop caring about their feelings. There is no need to have pity for somebody who is very quite aware of how disgusting they are. Their behavior is that erotic, and they're not doing anything about it. That is intentional. There's no need to care. There's no need to give an F-U-C-K, and there's no need to have pity for somebody who is purposely hurting you, purposely hurting people. The secret to leaving them alone is to stop caring.
Narcissists will not, number 1, absorb wisdom and advice. Number 2, admit their wrongdoings or their participation to the problem. Number 3, acknowledge they caused another person stress or emotional pain. Number 4, allow themselves to truly be held accountable. Number 5, accept someone else's individuality or varying perspective. Number 6, affirm others without a manipulative intent. 7, adapt to meet the demands of a relationship or a circumstance. 8, applaud another's successes because they burn with envy. Number 9, appreciate others or others' efforts. Number 10, articulate their true inner feelings. And number 11, attune to others and their needs without it being for the purpose of objectifying or exploiting.
The narcissist wants you stuck in time, believe me when I tell you. They really do. And they want you thinking about what once was. They want you thinking about that, yeah, you could have done better. And yes, it was your fault. And yes, you should have tried harder. And yes, you didn't give everything. This is not true, none of those words. Remember, the narcissist is a master manipulator, and they want to gaslight you, which is have you believe their false narrative of the rhetoric or of the story of the relationship.
Why is it so much harder to recover from a breakup with a narcissist than from a, quote, normal person? Well, in a normal relationship, there's blame to go around sometimes, there's finger pointing, but this is usually a little even on both sides, and it's usually based on things that actually happened. With a narcissist, they really are responsible for almost all of the things that actually destroyed the relationship, regardless of how perfect or imperfect you were. And they are passionately dedicated to avoiding any accountability for it. So you not only have to recover from the abuse that they put you through during the relationship and the loss of somebody that you probably really cared about, but you also have to deal with them piling all of the blame on you for everything that they did. And this can be really confusing, disorienting, and really hard to explain to other people. It can make you feel isolated and alone.
Man, narcissists aren't exactly big fans of having to take accountability, but rest assured, anytime you try, they will demonstrate the following antics. Their initial go-to is flat-out denial of having any involvement whatsoever in what you're inquiring about, almost immediately followed with subject changing or twisting, and turn the tables and focus onto you, using this new subject they've tossed into the mix to continuously and repeatedly badger you with, almost as if they're having a completely different conversation. None of their responses adding up to what you are asking, just as another way to try to steer you off course. And if all attempts fail, they will break out into one of their psychotic temper tantrums, becoming unreasonably upset, stomping off as if they're going to go pout somewhere else to avoid any further questioning. Because while narcissists, they'll take credit for your accomplishments, they'll take your dignity, your self-worth, your soul, and your sanity. But to take accountability? Nah. They prefer to pawn that off on someone else and don't give but one fuck who it hurts or screws in the process. It's on you. Fuck the narcissist.
It starts, it's so predictable, y'all. The shaming, the guilting, the insults, and then the need to be right. No matter how wrong they might be, they'll stomp to be right and expect their followers to fall in line. Warriors, once you understand that they argue for a reaction, not for reasoning, not for diplomacy, not for understanding, Nothing but for a reaction. And let me tell you, that reaction does not scream, I don't respect you. We're not equals or whatever you might have called them, right? What that reaction means to the narcissist is, I can still get under your damn skin. And as long as that can happen, they still matter. Non-reactive, on the other hand.
The female covert narcissist will entrust you very early on in the relationship about her weaknesses, her vulnerabilities, her secrets, and she will act like she has never trusted anyone like this before. But once the love bombing stage is over, she will start to act as though she made the biggest mistake of her life trusting you. She will accuse you of doing things to make her feel insecure and unsafe, not putting her as a priority or defending her, not keeping her happy and safe like you said you would. And this negative shift in her will be entirely your fault. And the only way to get that good, loving version of her back, that version you fell in love with, is to prove that you are good enough, that you can be trusted, that you will protect her and meet all of her needs all of the time. Female.
Why do narcissists push boundaries? And there's one main reason why they push boundaries, and that's because they feel entitled. They're entitled to everything. They're entitled to your thoughts on anything they want to know. They're entitled to your feelings, to knowing your feelings and picking that apart. They're entitled to getting closer to you than they deserve to be. But of course, they're not actually entitled to that. They just think they are. And you're going to see this entitlement firsthand when you start to enforce those boundaries. Because a narcissist is always going to take your personal boundaries as an attack on them. Healthy boundaries are an attack on no one. But a narcissist will see it as an attack on their ability to get supply. And you can kind of understand why they would think that after learning a little bit about narcissism.
Having narcissistic parents influences how a child will behave when they become an adult. For this video, I will refer to the adult as the survivor. One theme that emerged from a study in 2023 has to do with how the survivor convinces their romantic partner and their in-laws about the nature of their narcissistic parents. Many survivors reported having trouble convincing people of why it was important for them to cut off contact with their parents. Essentially, they have difficulty getting people to believe how narcissistic their parents were. There is a tendency to view the survivor as the one who's causing the problem, like they are self-centered or immature. People might say something like, well, their parents could not have been that arrogant, grandiose, and manipulative. The survivor must be exaggerating. The survivor is severely judged for initiating a no-contact stance, and people start to create distance from them. The irony is that their efforts to stay safe from narcissism lead them to isolation.
You were working for the narcissist, and you were available to them all the time. Think about when you would receive a text when you were in the devaluation stage. You would respond immediately. You would drop whatever you were doing, and you would respond and react as fast as you could. What were you doing then? You were reporting back to the narcissist. You were becoming available to the narcissist. You were working for the narcissist.
Here are 5 things that a narcissist will blame you for that clearly aren't your fault. Number 1, they will blame you for them cheating on you. That's right. They'll cheat on you and then twist it and gaslight you into thinking that it was your fault. Number 2, they will blame you for their failures. If they didn't perform well at work, if their business failed, if they have a failed relationship with a family member, it's going to be your fault. Number 3, they will blame you for your friends and family not liking them. After they've done all of these crazy and messed up things to you, they will fault you for it. And they will say you shouldn't have been talking to them about what's been going on. Number 4 is for my people who share a child with a narcissist. They will blame you for them not seeing your child, even though they make no effort to and don't even want to. They will go smear your name to everyone and say you won't let them see the child. Number 5, narcissists will literally blame you for their daily inconveniences. If they got a flat tire, your fault. If they ran out of gas, your fault. If they forgot to eat lunch, your fault. If they got a hangnail, your fault.
How do you deal with a narcissistic parent or sibling? Don't. Just move on, realize what these people are and who they are, and know that they don't benefit you anymore.
When it comes to narcissists, you got to remember that they always want what they can't have, and they always want what they wish they had. You see, the reason why they targeted you is not because you were weak, as some would say, but rather you are everything. Targeted you is not because you were weak, as some would say, but rather you are everything that they wish that they could be. They admire those qualities and those traits. But after some time in that relationship, it becomes too much because it speaks to their core and reminds them that no, you are not the same, because a lot of times they take the fact that you, with all your characteristics and the traits and your qualities, right, that make you unique and who you are, they think that they can siphon that and become that. But that's the deception. That's where they're deceived. You cannot do that. They cannot just siphon your good traits and become that. That's why they end up resenting you and seek to end things. But you are never who they said that you are.
You ever noticed how many times a narcissist falls in love in a year? About every 30 days, sometimes twice on a good day or a good month. But they always run in to the one every time, every connection. It's the one. Don't nobody fall in love quicker than a desperate narcissist. Oh, they want to close the deal ever so quickly. Warriors, let me tell you something. When I tell you narcissists want to kill the love you have in your heart, understand, narcissists, if you spend time with them long enough in these circles and growing up, you'll remember occasions where they told you love is a gimmick.
If you find it extremely hard to trust others after leaving the narcissist, you're not paranoid, crazy, or mentally ill. Here is why. Your inability to trust others is a valid response because the narcissist gave you every reason not to trust people again. Who wouldn't hesitate to trust people if their trust was weaponized against them every single moment they spent with the person they trusted and loved the most? Who wouldn't be triggered by all the niceness they see in new people when this niceness was nothing but a facade of the narcissist they were made to believe in? Finding it difficult to trust people is a hallmark of surviving narcissistic abuse and severe betrayal trauma. If you cannot trust people right now, you don't have to, because you are carrying a soul injury that will take time to heal and recover. Trust is naturally built and not forced. It's extremely hard to